she takes flirting, or she took flirting to a different level this week, though. That bending over.
Right, welcome back to another episode of Love or Lie Island. I'm Adam Miller, TV editor at metro.co.uk, and of course I'm joined by body language queen Judi James, where we decide if the islanders are telling us one thing, but their body language is saying something else. Right, Judi. Wow, if someone said to me last week we would be talking about Adam Collard today.
I know, but remember, I mean, to my shame, I didn't know who he was. I mean, I had to go back through the annals because I thought the name rang a bell. Then I looked back and I thought, yeah, we covered that series of Love Island, and then I kind of found a picture of him, but he's certainly done his job in this one. I will not forget him again, shall I say?
I know it's been. I mean, it feels like he hasn't done a lot, but somehow blown everything up. But
Yeah.
we are going to be exploring it all in a lot of detail, obviously. But yeah, what a shake-up! What a shake-up!
Yeah, I mean, memo to the producers: only fake tears from now onwards. I don't, I love the pantomime. I don't want to see the real thing again. But Adam did a magnificent job, and as you say, we'll discuss it. But he exceeded my expectations in the way that he forensically set about that place.
Absolutely. Well, last night we saw a huge row between ekin-su and Davide over Adam. But let's take a look at the couple of days that kind of built up to that moment.
So tell me, you spoke with her on the terrace?
I said, how is it going with Davide? And she said it was going good.
Yeah.
What do you think? I get like a little bit more of a friendship vibe from it, but I'm going off what I've just seen.
Yeah, no, I wanted just to know what did she say.
She was 100%. She didn't shut us down.
Yeah,
but
I know she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's fine. No, I'm cool.
What do you get the impression from what you know?
I just get a little bit more friendship vibes. And
Really?
that's kind of where, I'm not going to lie, I find you super attractive, and that's why I came in and wanted to speak to you straight away.
But you picked Paige.
Well, I've got to speak to everyone, haven't I?
True.
Are you getting jealous already?
No, oh my God, no.
My God, I mean, I love ekin-su so much, but I thought this was so interesting because obviously there was that big row last night and they did make amends, but it was interesting. If you look at the build-up to that, you can see kind of how it was coming, can't you?
Yeah, and I hate my role now because I know that I love ekin-su as well, but you love her in a different way because you want
love her so much.
And I'm looking at absolutely class pantomime going on. So I know that, in fact, I can't look at your face when I do these bits because I know it's so I love your shirt, by the way. That's your cue for the Louis Vuitton. Adam, the rate that he was doing this as well, he kind of pretty much got everybody in the villa thinking about their relationship, not like overtly winding them up, but it was almost like humble body language, and it was his time to do Davide. And I'm quite surprised that Davide fell for it, but there again, we're talking an open wound with ekin-su anyway, aren't we? I mean, I think he's watching her, waiting for her to sort of make a mistake again. But it was theatrical the way that he dripped poison, because we've got Davide, who was in doing, the blokes do their review, don't they, in the morning, and have you done this, have you done that? And he was able to join in and boast, and he was sexually boasting about something that had gone on. And then Adam comes creeping into view. How do you feel about it? And it's like, what? It's just that, is it more of a friendship thing? And I mean, if somebody says that to you, you've got to ask them about the whole conversation. So Davide went from being a stud with ekin-su to being her friend by implication. And that was enough, really. Even somebody like Davide, who knows the score, who's that little bit older, it obviously ate away it's like an earworm, it chews away at your brain. And that was when he went and sort of didn't take it out with her. I mean, obviously he spoke to Adam man to man, which I loved. yeah, it was his vulnerable spot, and that's exactly what Adam went for.
And you're totally right. And I think also the friends, I think in this day and age more than ever, I think, especially with dating apps and stuff, we've all been friend zoned, and it's kind of that's always, I think there's always that kind of paranoia about getting friend zoned.
Yeah.
Also, we saw ekin-su there, and she's been very determined, like, no, I'm loyal, blah, blah, but she loves it though, doesn't she? Like, she absolutely loves it.
Thank you for admitting that. This is nothing against her. She's magnificent. I love the way she changes roles, characters in there. She's currently Mary Poppins. I wouldn't do that. The way she sat and explained it all to Adam. No, he went into Casa Amor. He did so and so. I did nothing at all. And absolutely.
Which we know isn't true.
Yeah, I'm watching the show, Ekin, but I quite like that scene because I really liked it because in a way, Adam and ekin-su, it was like watching two great players bounce off one another, and they're both doing this sort of quite an innocent routine, and I think they're both aware of one another. But yeah, I mean, from the moment Adam walked in, she thought that he got a gift wrap on him with her name hanging off it, just for you. And of course she would think that. She's had no drama recently. She's called the mum of the house now, which is going to really make her mad, I think. Now she's kind of settled down a bit. And she's gone off camera quite a bit, which is tragic for all of us. That's the problem when she's happy with Davide. We don't see them anymore. We don't get those wonderful conversations about Louis Vuitton bags and things like that. And I think she probably guessed as much as the rest of us that that's why Adam might be for her to reactivate her to a certain extent. And she was up like a meerkat, wasn't she? I mean, when the other girls were sort of like, oh, what happened on your date? Oh, yeah, really? And you could see the eyes were watching him, and
she was plotting, wasn't she? You could really see it. There was like...
Absolutely. And then, I'm obviously going to look like I would not be a woman that would fall to your charms. But then she gets back in, well, he's going to have to work at it to persuade me. And I thought, well, there you go. You've now got a new plot line and you've explained it to us, and we can't wait to see it.
Do you think there is any truth in what Adam said about it being more friendship than romantic, though? Especially if we haven't seen much of them. Maybe that's why.
And that's the point. I mean, I've found that not odd particularly because it kind of fits in a way, but for two very flirty sort of sexual characters in there and a little bit older as well, once they've coupled up, we didn't see any really touch between them, contact between them. Often we get shots of them at night vision where almost back to back, and I thought, well, this is quite weird. You'd almost think if you took them at face value, they'd be one of the first couples to really, get down to it in there. But they weren't, and I think that did kind of ask the question. But there again, do they know how good they are together? Do they know how good their plots are? And does that mean that makes them better positioned to win the whole competition? So it's a kind of, it's almost like a professional pairing in a way, which I don't mind at all. A professional pairing can win it as far as I'm concerned. I'll be more than happy because I'm loving it.
Me too. Oh, it's not that long to go, to be fair. So yeah, another couple who are pretty much, I'd say, a dead set to be in the final. Actually, is Gemma and Luca, who again have had quite an interesting week. Let's take a look at these two key moments.
I'm gonna get told off.
Yeah, so get off me.
So sorry. On the sly.
Mates can't hug.
I'm going to be leaving today.
Nah, man.
What?
Yeah. Don't go crying over me, 'cause I'm not who I used to be.
Now, the Billy thing actually really threw me. I thought it kind of came from nowhere. And yeah, we saw Gemma's reaction there when Luca was watching them. Just looking at these two clips, what did you make of the kind of weird Billy saga?
Yeah, I think both Luca and Gemma know that Billy was sent in for her, really. I mean, he fitted the profile. I think she said they'd had mutual friends or something. And I think it was him that walked in, wasn't it, when she went, oh, the one in grey, immediately. there would be that initial attraction. So I think they're both very canny, and they both know that that's going to happen, that people will be sent in specifically to tempt them. They also play games with one another as well, and there's always been this brinkmanship between them, and we saw it on their dates as well, where they'll go, one will say something nice and the other one will throw it back, but they kind of get one another. And I think with Gemma, what's quite interesting is she will appear to flirt a bit with Billy. They are kind of friends, and eating the chips, and then he kind of had his arm around her. She's always very aware the old antenna is very much turned on Luca, because I think you could feel his eyes literally burning a hole in the back of your head, actually, if you were Gemma. So she knows what's going on. Now, what I find interesting about these two, and I know people get really worried about the fact that he seems incredibly possessive, and the guys that have been in there before have said, you don't understand what it's like. We know that people are coming in just for them, and it makes you feel horrible. She will play it so far a little bit, but she doesn't take it to the point where she's literally trying to wind him up. And she did a whole Strictly Come Dancing swizzle out of Billy's arms, and I think that's not just for Luca. I think she wants Billy to know that, no, don't take any liberties. She was very confident with him, putting him down. But what I did like, and I know we see a lot of Gemma and Luca cuddled up together, and it always looks like Luca's the one instigating it. The thing that I'm trying to work out, if you're 19 and you don't like that, you couldn't bear it to be going on all the time. You'd have to tell somebody to get. You couldn't even do it to try and win the competition. It would be way too much. And yet, even when they're doing that in bed at night, she's always smiling on night vision camera. And I noticed that, when she thought that Luca might get upset, she was the one putting her arm around his shoulder and stroking him.
That was when Jax was leaving, wasn't it? When Jax was doing his farewell speech.
Yeah, she's very empathetic. Yeah. And I know they play this game together, but there does seem to be a kind of mutual, deeper connection. I mean, I'm not going to push my neck out far enough to say it will last very long. I hope she gets a chance to pick a football around with her dad. That's all. Just once around the park, at least.
I mean, I think a lot of the things that we just said then, though, are how relationships are in the outside world, a lot of them, aren't they? And I think that's kind of what makes them such a genuine couple in a way. And I do think, like you just said, like, this isn't a real situation. So if he is kind of like, oh my God, get away from that guy, but it might not be reflective of how he is on the outside. It's because this guy has been sent in to take her off you. So it is,
Yeah, and
it clearly people are a bit aware.
He's got strong feelings. He probably knows that there's stuff that are potentially lined up, like film night, or is it tweet? Stuff that will also. It's like an assault course, really. And I hope that when he gets out, but when he gets out as well, they always get inundated, don't they, with people trying to hit on them in clubs and things like that. So. Yeah, we're going to have to cross our fingers.
I mean, he did. I hate to say the word. I'm going to say it, he did pass the test, so maybe he'll be all right.
He didn't think that he had to try all the girls in the cast room or just to pass the test. He knew. He does know that he likes it.
Yeah, no, I think that's really evident, isn't it? So someone who hasn't had the same look as Gemma and Luca, though, is Danica. We're just going to take her most recent date with Adam last night.
If you want a little bit more, just let me know.
I'm glad that we're on the same page and you kind of know where I'm at a little bit.
No, definitely.
There's chemistry between us.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Love it when you hold me.
Right, now I have to say, I absolutely adore Danica. I think she has a heart of gold and she is stunning. But it's not working out for her. And I think when you look at some of the dates she's been on, can you just where do you think it's going wrong for Danica?
I hate to say it, her attitude doesn't really work, and in a way I should be hoping it does, because she tries to be very confident, quite demanding of the men, but she does make it look like a PR interview, a recruitment. I mean, in fact, it's worse than that now. It's almost got like one of those interviews on The Apprentice that they do at the end where they're trying to catch them out with everything. She comes straight in and she's talking straight away, and then she sits down and she'll ask a question, but she'll almost talk over the answer as well. And it's almost as though she can't wait to hear the answer because she wants to make her mind up really quickly. And therefore, it begins to look very contrived. Also, did you notice on that date as well, she immediately, eye contact's really important. Please don't do that. Don't do that at any stage in a relationship, because the minute you say to anybody, eye contact's important, you're going to end up in this sort of weird staring. Yeah, no, you're going to, you've been pouring drinks in your ear, and it creates such inhibitions. If you allow it to happen naturally, and clearly Adam is Mr. Eye Contact King, but if you allow it to happen naturally, it's fine. But because she said that, she did end up having to look at him while she was drinking. I mean, she couldn't take it right.
Like, I'm just going to the loo.
That's some cartoon character. It just goes completely wrong, and all the dancing in the world at the end of that, I don't think really made it work. I mean, he was very polite, but I think a date with Danica is quite difficult. She takes flirting, or she took flirting to a different level this week, though. That bending over in front of
I have to say, she looked incredible, though, as well. I was like, if I could do that, I'd be doing that all day.
Oh, come on, we can all do that, surely.
That's true. I've seen you do that myself.
You are faker than a Louis Vuitton bag made in China. No, it's probably that's very high level flirting, and it probably, she doesn't need to go there really. As you say, she's stunning. She just needs to bring it down a little bit, and I know she must feel like she's getting a bit desperate now. And I feel sorry for that, but no, I just let the viewers love her. Really, is probably enough.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you pair her off with in there that you think might be?
Well, I don't know if there just hasn't been anyone that's suited for her. And then, like the end of last night, we saw her and Billy, wasn't it? I mean, she put out that essentially it was like a mating call, wasn't it?
Oh, it wasn't like animal behaviour. Like, here's my bum, let's go chat with you back.
And it worked because Billy's, he was. He couldn't take his eyes off it. I mean, none of us. Like, it was great. But potentially Danica and Billy. But I'm not sure. I think he's actually more into Paige, Billy.
Like everybody in the villa, I think. My goodness. I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's interesting because, I think, remember she was talking to Josh, and he was basically telling her that he just wants to be friends. He's not into it. And she just wasn't really listening. Like, she kept just kind of saying, she just didn't understand it. But I think it's because because it's like she teaches like an interview. She doesn't really take in the words. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll give you a little insider thing on her job. I mean, I've not been a dancer, but I've done catwalk work, and you go to auditions all day. And you get into that mindset, because if you keep getting turned down, which everybody does, you might get one job every, 30 auditions in the dancing world in particular. You mustn't let your confidence get eroded. So if they're saying to somebody, oh, sorry, we don't need you for this, you have to keep thinking, it's because I look too glamorous, it's because I look too good, it's because I'm too whatever for it. So in a way, I think she's got probably this trait of instantly repairing her ego rather than listening to what was quite tragic in a way, dumped on television. So good for her for doing it, and I think that might be a professional trait that she's acquired.
I mean, I do like her, and I think she will survive the next dumping as well. So I hope they bring someone in for Danica. I think we'd all like to see it work out for Danica.
Yeah.
Also next week, we want to see these catwalk photos, Judi.
No, it's before cameras were invented, Adam, actually.
That. Okay, finally, we are going to talk about the girl that everyone is after in that villa, apart from Luca, Paige.
I think she would still kind of entertain me because of what's happened in the past. I actually get nervous when I speak to her, which I've not experienced in a long time.
Now, obviously, Jax left the villa on Tuesday in a really different episode for this series, actually, but it was a hard watch. And then hours after even, Paige was on a date with Adam. Obviously, everyone was very, very affected by Jax's exit. What did you think of Paige and Adam's interaction there, though? Do you think, is she going to wait for him? I'm not sure.
No, it looked as though she was back in the saddle straight away, which I don't think probably helped her profile. I think we need to also be very careful about Paige. I mean, I don't know. She's been a paramedic. Presumably, she went through the pandemic and everything. I mean, she probably came on here for a rest and just have a nice holiday and a bit of fun. And she ended up between Jax and now Adam. You'd almost get a big stick and say, please stay away from Adam, because he's coming out with all the lines, isn't he? Oh, you make me feel nervous. Sorry, Adam, I'm just going to vomit while I listen to that line. It's a masterclass and the minute he said to her, oh, you make me feel nervous, I thought, please, Paige, don't let that line work on you. And suddenly you could see that it had. We went from that head wobble thing that she does and the kind of the cheeky grin, but then we got this huge flirt signal. I mean, it could have been more overt because Danica's bum was more overt, but the tongue licked out the side of the mouth. Now, if it had come out the front, it would have been a gesture of rejection. But a lick of the side of the mouth, I mean, he didn't have to get his I Spy book of flirting out to realise that she probably did fancy him at that point. And it was a prolonged gesture as well. So she certainly does appear interested. I don't know how conflicted she's going to be about the fact that she must know that she will be being watched on television, but whatever she decides to do, I think it's important that she's not judged harshly, because we probably don't know the whole story, and she was also in genuine tears, and I think I don't want to see her like that again. But then that's probably a good reason for her not to stray too close to Adam, and I hope somebody just warns her a little bit. I think the other women know his past and they probably know what he's been like. I hope that she gets that message as well. She's quite canny, but she's a mixture, isn't she? She's a little bit naive and a little bit canny as well. I think she thinks the best of people to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll send her a little note, maybe not Adam.
No, right. I think Adam. I think he's almost like he's just a professional flirter, almost, isn't he? It's just like the lines are they're just straight from the movies, and and I think he knows how to flirt with each girl individually. It's not like he's not the same with each one either. I think he knows. He's like I say, he's a pro, basically.
Absolutely, and it is like a masterclass, but I don't want any males of the UK learning from that masterclass, because it is frightening. And as you say, if you use just the same old corny line every time, but he's like a chameleon. He changes, and he seems to change in exactly the right way, and that's worrying. There's nobody that he's really hit the wrong note with so far. I mean, even with ekin-su, I think he's absolutely reeling her in by making her third on the list, so that she's desperate and then saying, "Oh, why are you jealous?" So I don't think Adam he's got any intention of properly coupling up with anybody in there. I think he's gone in there to do a job, and that's it. So I think he's just been dropped in, and I think he'll drop out again. His profile will have been raised. He's probably got a queue of women outside, and it's a shame that I think the girls probably will fall for it. Maybe, I don't know, unless he goes quite quickly. But he's a great watch, though.
Oh, he is. I don't think the rest of us can really cope with watching Paige go through another heartbreak either.
Honestly, and that's what worries me. I really hope he's not going to play one of those. If it's part of what he does, if he feels that, oh, I've got to do what I did last time because that's what people are, that's the old song people want to hear again. Please don't choose Paige to do it to. She's, I think, as you say, I don't want to see her in tears again like that. I want to have fun and enjoy herself for the rest of the series.
Yeah, me too. And I always think that's the kind of when Love Island shines at its best is actually when I genuinely think it's when there's love. I do think that is when it's more enjoyable to watch, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of frothy panto, and nobody gets really upset, and that, I mean, you've got enough people in there that can do the right reactions. I mean, ekin-su does amazing. I love her reaction faces. Have you noticed? I've got a text like, you're on Love Island. You knew there would be text. I mean, if somebody said, "Oh look, I've just buttered a bit of bread," and they can hone in on her anytime they want. She'll give the drama. They don't need to get the real upsets, I don't think. But yeah, it just needs to be a good old water cooler, have a laugh.
Yeah. I mean, ekin-su was born to be a meme, wasn't she? I think.
Oh,
Well, on that note, though, join us again next week for another episode of Love or Lie Island, when who knows who we'll be talking about. Queen Mora, it could be anyone, couldn't it? And also catch us on this week, the episode of Love Island Morning After, the podcast with Kem and Ariel Free, which we recorded this week. So take a listen and see you next week.